Knowing exactly why this is occurring will change how you perceive every single thought, every emotion, and every moment you have shared, even when there is physical distance between you. Someone out there is completely consumed by you, but this special bond is not something that is permitted right now. This situation reveals two important realities that you need to understand completely. Take a slow, careful breath before you continue, because this message did not find you by accident. If this silent message of love resonates with you, hit the like button so that others can discover this sacred truth. You did not come across this by chance. The person who appeared in your thoughts just now is there for a purpose. There is someone connected to your life, or perhaps someone who keeps surfacing in your mind uninvited, who shares a very deep bond with you. It is not a short-lived emotion. It is not light, and it is not something that will fade away quickly. It is profound, constant, calm, and always present in the background. They are drawn to you, but not in a loud, wild, or showy manner. It is a measured, contained kind of feeling, something they have never permitted themselves to feel in the past. Yet this bond feels entirely restricted, not because there is no love present, but because something blocks the path forward. That restricted nature highlights two very important realities. These realities explain why the connection feels so intense, why there is space between you, and why neither of you can completely move forward or let go of what is there. Before we explore more about what those realities reveal, if this is already touching something real inside of you, if you felt your breathing shift just from these words, subscribe to the channel now and turn on all notifications. This space is created exactly for those who sense things that others cannot put into words. You must first accept one basic fact. When a relationship feels limited, it does not mean there is any weakness involved. In reality, it often means the exact opposite. Restricted connections are rarely surface level. They do not begin when life feels easy and smooth. They do not arise from boredom or empty moments. They are not created from loneliness or a quick attraction that is destined to pass. They come from a deep recognition within the heart and the mind. This person did not choose to develop these feelings for you on purpose. It happened slowly at first, and then suddenly, all at once. At the beginning, you were just someone they noticed. Then, you became someone they respected. Then, you became someone they trusted. And then, without really knowing how, you turned into the person they could not stop thinking about. What makes it restricted is not a lack of genuine emotion. It is the situation, the timing, the obligations, the worries, and the moral boundaries that stand in the way. This is the point where the first important reality appears. This person battles an inner struggle every single day because of you. They are not fighting against you. They are dealing with their own deep-seated emotions. They wake up already thinking of you, and right away, they tell themselves why they should not follow those thoughts. They go over your past conversations in their head, and then they scold themselves for smiling about it. They picture what being close to you would be like, and then they force those images away, because wanting you seems risky. It is not risky for their feelings, but for the life they have built and the values they have followed for so long. For some, this means they are already committed to someone else. For others, it involves family pressure, cultural expectations, social obligations, or moral lines they were taught never to cross. Sometimes one of you is simply not free in a way that makes things very complicated. Sometimes the connection challenges everything they thought they wanted from life. Instead of taking action, they hold themselves back. Instead of speaking, they stay quiet. Instead of coming closer, they observe from a distance. And here is something many people fail to notice completely. Silence does not always mean there are no feelings. More often, it means the emotions are so intense that they become difficult to manage. This person is not calm at all when it comes to you. Their emotions are powerful, but they express them only in total silence. They do not speak because speaking might open a door they fear they cannot close again. They do not take steps because acting would force them to face consequences they are not ready to handle. They do not come nearer because being close would reveal truths they have hidden even from their own mind. Carl Jung once explained that what you fight against only becomes stronger. That is exactly what is happening in this situation. Every time they try not to reach out, the emotion grows more intense. Every time they pull back, the connection becomes tighter. Every time they deny their true feelings, the bond moves deeper into the background instead of disappearing. Feelings that are suppressed do not simply vanish, they become more powerful as time passes. This explains the strange shifting energy you sometimes notice. Comment 111 if you are feeling this connection right now. It explains why you sense them even when they are not physically near. It explains why thoughts of them arrive at unexpected moments without any effort from you. It is why your mood changes for no clear external reason. You might feel their presence around you even during peaceful moments. You might notice a flow of unfinished energy passing between you. That happens because hidden emotions do not fade away. They remain and wait for their time. Carl Jung said that until the unseen parts of the mind are acknowledged, they will continue to direct your life, and you might see that guidance as simple fate. Much of what joins you now is hidden, unspoken, and unresolved. Because it remains in the shadows, it moves underneath, creating tension, strong emotions, and internal conflict. This person holds you in their private thoughts quietly, while the outside world sees only a calm and steady face. They might appear settled and balanced, but inside there is a constant pull in opposite directions. Wanting something is immediately followed by holding back. This is not because you mean little to them. It is because you matter so much that it creates fear. They worry about upsetting lives, going against their principles, or starting something they cannot stop. Type the word sacred if you have experienced this kind of silent pull with someone. That inner conflict is very exhausting. It is why the connection sometimes feels heavy to carry. It is why the strength exists even without direct communication. It is why being apart does not bring real peace. Jung also wrote that when two people meet, it is like two chemical substances coming into contact. If any reaction takes place, both become changed forever. You have already been influenced. Both of you, whether you realize it or not, have been deeply altered just by knowing each other. This is not something imaginary. This is not a mistake. This is a connection that goes beyond normal logic and standard explanations, and this is precisely why time alone cannot remove it. It is not sustained by routine. It is sustained by its true significance. Jung wrote that where love leads, there is no desire for control. In this bond, control is not the goal, and power is not what drives it. That is why it can feel so confusing at times. There are no games here. There is no attempt to manipulate between you. There are simply two people touched by something they never expected and do not know how to fit into their normal daily lives. As this understanding grows, one reality becomes very clear. You are not just a passing distraction. You are not a mistake. You cannot be replaced or copied by anyone else. You are part of a story that has already begun moving both of you toward a deeper and more honest view of who you are. As that perspective continues to expand, the real meaning of this restricted bond will continue to reveal itself step by step, patiently and gently, until the next reality is ready to appear. If you are still here listening, you are already among the few special people who are prepared to face what most others spend their entire lives avoiding. Most people walk away from messages like this, not because they do not feel anything, but because it resonates with them too deeply. If this is already stirring something inside you, please subscribe right now and turn on notifications. What you are about to hear does not only describe restricted links and quiet love, it will change forever how you understand yourself. As that reality begins to sink in, something else becomes very hard to overlook. This connection does not act like a typical attraction. It does not grow weaker with distance, and it does not disappear just through thinking about it. It does not fade away simply because it causes problems in your life. Instead, it follows both of you quietly, like a shadow that is not owned by one person, but rather created by what happens when you connect. You might notice that even when you are busy and life demands your full focus elsewhere, this person returns to your thoughts without any effort on your part. It is not because you are purposely reaching for them. It is because something that is not yet settled keeps rising to the surface. The same process is happening on their side as well. They might spend days looking completely unaffected. They might seem entirely involved in their job, their family, their daily tasks, and their various duties. But the human mind tends to return again and again to what it cannot finish. They recall how you made them feel truly understood without having to say very much. They remember how easy it felt to just be themselves when they were in your presence. They recall that strange, familiar feeling of having known you for a long time. They remember specific moments that meant far more than they should have, and that is exactly why it disturbs them. Once you feel truly seen at such a deep level, you cannot simply remove that experience from your memory. This is where many people get the idea of restricted connections wrong. They think the distance exists because one person feels less for the other, but the truth is often the exact opposite. Distance is not always caused by weak feelings. Sometimes it is caused by feelings that are far too strong. This person knows that if they move even one step closer, they might not be able to return to the version of themselves they used to be. They feel that something permanent waits on the other side of being completely honest with you, and they are not yet ready to dismantle the life they have built so carefully, even if that life no longer matches the person they are turning into. So, they choose control instead of openness. They choose their current circumstances instead of the full strength of their emotions. They choose the discomfort they already know instead of a truth they cannot yet trust completely. But there is always a price for that decision. Every time they push down what they really feel, it does not vanish. It transforms into something different inside them. It comes out as restlessness, as distraction, and as a continuing sense of emotional distance from the people they should be fully present with. They might start to question relationships that once seemed solid and safe. They might feel something is missing without being able to name exactly what it is. They might wonder why they no longer feel satisfied with the answers that used to bring them comfort. They may never say your name out loud during those times, but you become a silent inner measure for them. You represent a kind of emotional honesty that they have not yet allowed themselves to live. This is why the connection always feels like it is not finished. It is not only about two people missing each other, it is about two lives standing at the beginning of a massive and unavoidable change. You feel this too. Even if you cannot put it into clear words, you might see that after this person came into your life, your own expectations changed quietly without any announcement. What you are now willing to accept in a relationship feels different. What you truly want has become much clearer. What you once put up with without thinking now feels empty and insufficient. You might find yourself less willing to stay with someone who is only halfway there emotionally. You might have less patience for bonds that lack real depth. You are now very aware of what a true connection feels like, and that awareness did not come from nowhere. It came from deep recognition. This is where the second layer of meaning starts to show itself. This connection is not only about wanting someone, it is about waking up inside. Some relationships are meant to create a shared future together. Other relationships exist to wake you up to your own inner truth. This one belongs entirely to the second type, not because it can never grow into something more, but because its primary purpose is currently happening inside you. You met this person at exactly the right time in your life, when something within you was ready to be moved. And they met you at the exact moment when they were quietly doubting the life they had been living, even if they never said that doubt out loud to anyone. This is why the pull feels both very strong and very confusing at the same time. You act as mirrors for each other. You show them the parts they have kept hidden, and they bring out the sides of you that were waiting to come into the open. This type of connection does not follow normal timing. It does not hurry, and it does not announce itself with clear, direct signs. It works slowly inside you to change your main priorities, your deepest values, and your understanding of what is truly important in this world. Right now, in this moment, leave the number 111 in the comments. In quantum ideas and in the meaningful timing that Carl Jung studied, 111 marks the exact point when the hidden becomes seen and when two energies that have been moving toward each other finally come together. If this message reached you when you needed it most, that number is your way of saying yes. The channel notices every comment left here, so drop 111 if you sense this was brought to you with a purpose. That is exactly why even the silence between you feels full of energy, because something is still active underneath the surface. You might wonder why letting go feels impossible, why thinking cannot end it, and why telling yourself that nothing can happen does not really create freedom. It is because this bond is not kept going by dreams alone. It is kept going by a truth that has not yet been fully lived. And a truth that has been truly felt cannot be forgotten or thrown away. You are not just holding on to a person, you are holding on to an experience of emotional clarity that changed you forever, and they are going through the exact same process. This does not mean you should wait forever, and it does not mean you should stop living your life or give up your present for a hypothetical future. It means you should completely understand what this connection is trying to teach you. It is showing you how deeply your heart can actually feel. It is showing you the type of connection that gives energy instead of taking it away. It is reminding you that real emotion goes far beyond what is simply easy or without risk. And it is doing exactly the same for them, whether they admit it or not. What comes next cannot be forced or created on purpose. It cannot be sped up by wanting it alone, and it cannot be changed by silence or by chasing after them. This is because this kind of bond only opens fully when honesty becomes stronger than fear. Until that point is reached, it stays in the space between, not gone, but not fully here either. It is alive in your thoughts, alive in your emotions, and alive in those peaceful moments where truth speaks softly instead of loudly. As time keeps passing, the tension between who they have been and who they are truly turning into will keep growing stronger. The same thing is happening inside of you. Eventually, something has to change because a mind that has truly woken up does not go back to sleep. And when that change comes, it will not happen just from wanting it strongly. It will happen from being truly ready. Readiness does not come with big announcements or dramatic actions. It comes quietly through built-up discomfort and the slow, clear understanding that something inside no longer matches the life being lived. For them, this often starts as a small break. They begin to see that the parts they play in their daily life feel heavier than they did before. Duties they once accepted easily now feel like limitations. Their usual emotional patterns feel empty, even when everything on the outside looks perfectly fine. You are not the reason for that break. You are the light that shows what was already present. You did not make their life unstable. You simply lit up the parts that were already not matching. That is exactly why this connection feels risky to them. Not because it endangers their daily safety, but because it threatens the carefully kept picture of the life they built. Comfortable lives are often made from carefully maintained illusions. Truth requires taking responsibility, and truth requires courage. Truth asks someone to face what they feel and decide if they have the strength to live that way. Many people are not ready for that decision when the feeling first appears. So they wait longer, and they create reasons to delay. They tell themselves it is only a short phase that will eventually end. They tell themselves it is just the mind imagining things, or that it will disappear if they ignore it with enough effort. But deep connections do not fade when they are ignored. They turn into pressure, the kind that grows quietly until it cannot be held back anymore. This is why you might feel waves of emotional closeness, followed by sudden pulling away. There are moments when they seem fully present emotionally, and then they suddenly step back. There are times when you sense a strong link without any words at all. That movement back and forth is not about being unsure of you. It is an inner battle happening inside them. They are standing at a crossroads between the person they have always been and the person they are slowly but surely becoming.